The war was lost until we awakened an ancient human general from cryosleep. Earth's last line of defense shatters as the Tholian invasion fleet punches through, obliterating the combined human-alien alliance forces. Admiral Sarah Chen stands rigid in the command center, her face a mask of grim determination as reports flood in. New York, London, Beijing, all fallen. Humanity teeters on the brink of extinction. Chen's voice cuts through the chaos. Initiate Operation Lazarus. Now. The order crackles across secure channels, reaching Bruce Morris deep within a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. The seasoned cryogenics specialist springs into action, leading his team through reinforced doors toward their last hope, a man frozen in time for over 2 centuries. The facility shudders. Tholian bombardment intensifies on the surface, sending tremors through bedrock. Morris and his team race against time, their footsteps echoing in corridors untouched for decades. They reach the cryo chamber, a gleaming cocoon of technology housing General Alexander Frost, legendary strategist of the 21st century. Alarms blare as power fluctuations threaten the revival process. Morris's fingers fly over control panels, compensating for surges and drops. "Stabilize the power grid," he shouts, eyes fixed on Frost's vital signs. The general's heartbeat flutters, weak but present. A deafening explosion rocks the facility. Tholian assault teams breach the outer defenses. Morris grabs a pulse rifle, taking up a defensive position at the chamber entrance. His colleagues work feverishly to complete the revival as the sounds of battle draw nearer. Elva, a captured Tholian scout, huddles nearby. "Their exoskeletons are weakest at the joints," she hisses, mandibles clicking nervously. Morris nods, adjusting his aim as the first Tholian attackers round the corner. Energy bolts sizzle past, scorching the walls. Morris returns fire, his shots finding their mark with deadly precision. Inside the chamber, General Frost's eyes snap open. He gasps, lungs burning as they draw their first breath in centuries. Disoriented and weak, he struggles to focus on Morris's face as the specialist provides a rapid-fire briefing. "General, humanity is on the brink. We need you." Frost processes the information with military efficiency, his mind already formulating strategies. A final Tholian push threatens to overwhelm the humans. The general's voice, hoarse from disuse, rings out with authority. "Defensive positions. What are our assets?" Morris guides Frost to a control station, bringing ancient defense systems online. The general's fingers dance across the interface, coordinating a counterattack that catches the Tholians off guard. Turrets spring to life, unleashing salvos of outdated but effective weaponry. The aliens fall back, unprepared for tactics they've never encountered. As the last Tholian retreats, Frost turns to Morris, his eyes blazing with determination. "I need a full briefing on current military capabilities. We're going to turn this war around." Morris nods, hope rekindling in his chest. The war may have been lost, but with General Frost awakened from cryosleep, humanity has found its way back into the fight. As the last Tholian retreated, General Frost wasted no time. "We need to move," he ordered, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of command. "This facility is compromised." Morris nodded, quickly gathering essential equipment. "There's a hidden bunker nearby," he explained, leading the way through a concealed passage. "It's equipped with advanced communications and holographic displays." Elva, the Tholian scout, followed close behind. Her mandibles clicked nervously as she glanced back at the carnage they were leaving behind. "The others will return in greater numbers," she warned. The small group moved swiftly through dimly lit tunnels, the sounds of distant explosions echoing behind them. Frost's legs, still weak from cryosleep, threatened to buckle, but he pushed on, driven by the urgency of their situation. After what felt like hours of tense silence broken only by their labored breathing, they emerged into a state-of-the-art command center. Holographic displays flickered to life, bathing the room in an eerie blue glow. "General, we've established a secure connection with Admiral Chen," Morris announced, his fingers flying over a control panel. The holographic image of Admiral Sarah Chen materialized before them, her face etched with exhaustion and worry. "General Frost, it's an honor. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances." Frost stepped forward, studying the holographic displays surrounding him. They painted a grim picture. Major cities reduced to rubble, Tholian forces occupying strategic locations across the globe. "Brief me, Admiral. I need to know everything." As Chen spoke, detailing the devastating losses and failed counterattacks, Frost's mind raced. He absorbed the information with military precision, identifying patterns and weaknesses that had eluded others. "The Tholians have adapted to our current tactics," Frost mused, his eyes never leaving the displays. "But they've never faced strategies from my era." He turned to Morris. "What about our orbital defenses?" Morris shook his head. "Decommissioned decades ago. Diplomatic pressures." A spark ignited in Frost's eyes. "That's our play. They won't expect it because it doesn't exist." Officially, he outlined his plan to reactivate the mothballed Orbital Defense Network, a system of weaponized satellites and space stations that could turn the tide of the invasion. "It's bold, General," Chen admitted. "But how do we access a decommissioned system?" Frost turned to Morris. "We'll need a team. You're our tech expert." "Elva," he nodded to the Tholian scout, "your knowledge of Tholian weaknesses is crucial." He paused, considering. "We'll need a hacker, someone who can bypass the old security protocols." "I know someone," Morris interjected. "Marcus Wong, a young prodigy. He's with a nearby resistance cell." Frost nodded. "Get him here. We move out as soon as he arrives." The next few hours were a flurry of activity. Wong arrived, a wiry young man with quick eyes and quicker fingers. Frost briefed the team on their mission to reach the Colorado Space Command Center, one of the few remaining facilities with direct access to the orbital network. As they prepared to depart, Elva approached Frost. "The journey will be dangerous," she said, her alien features unreadable. "Tholian patrols blanket the area." Frost met her gaze steadily. "That's where your knowledge comes in. Guide us through their blind spots." They set out under the cover of darkness, using a combination of stealth technology and Elva's insider knowledge to avoid detection. The landscape was alien to Frost, familiar mountains and valleys now scarred by the ravages of war and alien technology. As they crested a hill, the group stumbled upon a scene of chaos. A band of human survivors was engaged in a firefight with a Tholian patrol. Without hesitation, Frost signaled his team to provide support. The battle was swift and decisive. As the last Tholian fell, a rugged man with the bearing of a soldier approached Frost. "Captain Jack Harper, former Special Forces," he introduced himself. "Appreciate the assist. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing in this hellhole?" Frost quickly explained their mission. Harper's eyes widened in recognition. "The Cryo General? Thought that was a myth." He gestured to his team. "We know this area. Could be of use to you." Frost nodded, recognizing the value of local intelligence and combat support. "Welcome aboard, Captain." As they continued their journey, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Harper openly questioned Frost's outdated military experience, while casting suspicious glances at Elva. The alien scout bore the scrutiny silently, but Frost could see the toll it was taking on her. Their progress was slow but steady, each step bringing them closer to the Space Command Center and to the possibility of turning the tide of the war. But as they approached their destination, a new challenge presented itself. The facility loomed before them, its once proud structures now bearing the scars of battle. But more concerning were the Tholian forces swarming around it, their alien forms moving with deadly purpose. Frost's mind raced, formulating a plan. He turned to his team, his voice low but filled with authority. "This is where we make our stand. Harper, I need you to lead a diversion team. Draw their forces away from the main entrance. Morris, Wong, you're our infiltration team. Get to that control room and reactivate the network. Elva, you're with them. Guide them through any Tholian security systems." He paused, his gaze sweeping over the determined faces before him. "I'll lead a sniper team to provide cover and take out key Tholian commanders. Any questions?" The team shook their heads, dedication etched on their faces. Frost nodded, a grim smile touching his lips. "Then let's remind these invaders why they should fear Earth." As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the war-torn landscape, Frost's team moved into position. The assault on the Space Command Center was about to begin, and with it, humanity's best hope for survival. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Frost's team moved with precision towards their designated positions. The Colorado Space Command Center loomed before them, its once proud structures now a battleground teeming with Tholian forces. Frost settled into his sniper's perch, the familiar weight of the rifle grounding him in this alien future. Through his scope, he watched Harper's team initiate their diversion, a series of controlled explosions drawing Tholian attention away from the main entrance. "Infiltration team, you're clear," Frost whispered into his comm. Morris, Wong, and Elva darted from cover to cover, their movements fluid and purposeful. The air crackled with energy as Tholian weapons fire lit up the night. Frost's fingers squeezed the trigger, his shots finding their marks with unerring accuracy. Tholian commanders fell, their exoskeletons shattering under the impact. Inside the facility, Morris and Wong worked in tandem, their fingers flying over alien consoles. Elva's guidance proved invaluable as they navigated the complex Tholian security protocols. "We're in," Morris's voice crackled over the comm. "Initiating orbital defense network, now." The sky above erupted in a dazzling light show as long-dormant satellites sprang to life. Tholian ships, caught unaware, exploded in brilliant fireballs. Frost allowed himself a moment of satisfaction before refocusing on the battle at hand. "All units, push forward. We need to secure this facility." The tide of battle shifted rapidly. Tholian forces, their command structure in disarray, began to falter. Harper's team, emboldened by their success, pressed their advantage, driving the aliens back. As the last Tholian fell, an eerie silence descended over the battlefield. Frost made his way into the command center, where Admiral Chen's hologram awaited. "General, it worked," Chen reported, her voice tinged with disbelief and hope. "Tholian forces are in full retreat worldwide. We've turned the tide." Frost nodded, his mind already racing ahead. "It's not over yet, Admiral. We need to press our advantage." He turned to his team, each member battered but standing tall. "We've won a battle, but the war continues. Our next target is the Tholian command ship." Morris's eyes widened. "Sir, that ship is in high Earth orbit. How do we reach it?" Frost's gaze fell on the facility around them. "We use their own technology against them. This base houses a Tholian teleportation device. We'll use it to beam directly onto their command ship." The team spent the next hours preparing for their daring assault. Morris and Wong pored over the alien technology, deciphering its workings. Elva provided crucial insights into Tholian ship layouts and security measures. As they worked, reports flooded in from around the globe. Humanity, bolstered by the sudden appearance of orbital defenses, was fighting back with renewed vigor. The moment of truth arrived all too soon. Frost's strike team gathered around the teleportation device, tension palpable in the air. "Remember," Frost addressed his team, "our objective is the bridge. We take control of that ship. We end this war." Harper, still nursing his wounds, clasped Frost's shoulder. "We'll hold this position, ensure you have an extraction point. Good hunting, General." Frost nodded, grateful for the soldier's unwavering dedication. He stepped onto the teleportation platform, flanked by Morris, Wong, and Elva. The air around them began to shimmer and distort. A high-pitched whine filled their ears as the device powered up. Suddenly, alarms blared. "Tholian jamming attempts detected," Wong shouted, his fingers flying over the controls. "Stabilize it," Frost ordered, watching as Morris and Wong worked frantically to counter the interference. The world around them began to dissolve into pure light. Frost's last sight before the teleportation took hold was Harper and his team, holding the line against a renewed Tholian assault. For a moment, there was nothing but blinding, all-encompassing light. Then, with a rush of sensation, Frost found himself materializing in a dimly lit, cavernous space, the Tholian command ship's cargo hold. As his team solidified around him, alarms began to blare throughout the vessel. Their arrival had not gone unnoticed. "Move!" Frost commanded, leading his team deeper into the alien ship. The corridors were a maze of pulsing, organic material and sleek technology, unlike anything Frost had ever seen. Elva took point, her knowledge of Tholian ship design guiding them through the labyrinth. They encountered resistance almost immediately, Tholian crew members emerging from side passages with weapons raised. Frost and his team fought with practiced efficiency, their disparate skills melding into a cohesive unit. Morris's technical expertise allowed them to bypass locked doors, while Wong's hacking abilities disrupted ship systems, sowing confusion among the Tholian ranks. As they battled their way towards the bridge, Frost couldn't help but marvel at the resilience of his team. Each member, from different eras and even different species, united by a common purpose. They reached a massive set of doors, ornately decorated with swirling alien script. "The bridge," Elva confirmed, her mandibles clicking with nervous energy. Frost nodded, steeling himself for what lay ahead. "This is it. The fate of Earth depends on what we do next. Ready?" His team's determined faces were all the answer he needed. With a nod to Wong, Frost raised his weapon as the hacker began to work on the door's security systems. The doors slid open with a hiss, revealing the nerve center of the Tholian invasion. Alien crew members turned in surprise, their crystalline forms glittering under the harsh light of holographic displays. Time seemed to slow as Frost took in the scene before him. At the center of the bridge stood a towering Tholian, its exoskeleton adorned with intricate patterns denoting high rank. The Tholian commander. As the first shots were fired, Frost knew that the next few moments would decide the fate of humanity. The battle for Earth's future had begun in earnest, played out on the bridge of an alien warship high above the planet's surface. Scarred surface. With a blinding flash, the world around them dissolved into pure energy. The disorientation of teleportation faded, replaced by the dim, eerie glow of the Tholian command ship's cargo hold. Frost's senses snapped to attention, taking in the cavernous space filled with alien containers and unfamiliar technology. "Everyone accounted for?" he whispered, his eyes scanning the shadows for immediate threats. Morris, Wong, and Elva nodded, their weapons at the ready. Before Frost could issue further orders, alarms blared throughout the vessel, their alien tones grating on human ears. "So much for the element of surprise," Morris muttered, his fingers already working on a nearby control panel. Frost's mind raced, centuries of tactical training kicking into overdrive. "New objective," he announced, his voice crisp with authority. "We need to reach the central computer core. Wong, your skills will be crucial there." The young hacker nodded, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. "I can work with that, sir." As they moved through the ship's winding corridors, the alien architecture seemed to shift and pulse around them. Frost led the way, his instincts guiding him through the unfamiliar terrain. They encountered their first wave of Tholian defenders at a junction, crystalline forms materializing from side passages. "Take cover!" Frost shouted, diving behind a protruding bulkhead. Energy blasts sizzled past, leaving scorch marks on the organic-looking walls. The team responded with practiced efficiency. Morris laid down suppressing fire while Elva, drawing on her knowledge of Tholian physiology, called out weak points. Wong, between bursts of covering fire, worked furiously on his portable device. "I've tapped into their comms," he reported. "They're coordinating a pincer movement to box us in." Frost's mind whirred, analyzing the situation. "Wong, can you access environmental controls?" The hacker's fingers flew across his screen. "Done. What did you have in mind?" "This," Frost replied, gesturing to a nearby maintenance hatch. As Wong activated the command, a burst of superheated steam erupted from the hatch, engulfing the approaching Tholian forces. Their crystalline forms cracked and shattered under the sudden temperature change. Taking advantage of the confusion, Frost led his team deeper into the ship. They moved swiftly, encountering pockets of resistance that they dispatched with increasing efficiency. As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with a sealed door, alien script pulsing across its surface. "It's a research lab," Elva translated, her mandibles clicking nervously. Wong made short work of the lock, and the door slid open with a hiss. The scene inside froze them in their tracks. Rows of stasis pods lined the walls, each containing a human form. But these weren't ordinary captives. The bodies showed signs of grotesque modification, crystal growths protruding from flesh in a horrific merger of human and Tholian physiology. "They're trying to create hybrids," Morris breathed, his face pale with shock. Frost's mind focused, a cold fury settling in his chest. "We end this now," he growled. "Wong, Download everything you can from their database. We'll need it to help these people, if we can. As Wong worked, Frost studied a holographic display of the ship's layout. The computer core is 2 levels up, he announced. We move fast, we hit hard. These monsters don't get another chance to hurt our people. They exited the lab, their determination hardened by what they'd witnessed. The corridors seemed to blur as they raced towards their objective, dispatching Tholian patrols with ruthless efficiency. As they approached the computer core, a new threat emerged. A squad of Tholian warriors, their exoskeletons gleaming with an energy field, blocked their path. Advanced weapons hummed with deadly power. Elite guards, Elva warned. Their shields can repel most energy weapons. The firefight that erupted was fierce and chaotic. Energy blasts ricocheted off walls and shields, filling the air with ozone and the screech of superheated metal. Morris cried out as a glancing blow caught his arm, leaving a nasty burn. Frost's mind raced, searching for a solution. His eyes landed on a power conduit running along the ceiling. Elva, they're weak points. The Tholian scout understood immediately. Joint connections where the carapace meets. Frost took aim and fired, not at the Tholians, but at the conduit above them. It exploded in a shower of sparks, momentarily overloading the elite guard's shields. In that split second of vulnerability, Frost and his team struck with precision, their shots finding the weak points Elva had identified. As the last elite guard fell, they burst into the computer core. Wong immediately set to work, his fingers dancing across alien interfaces as if he'd been born to it. I'm in, he announced after several tense minutes. But sir, you need to see this. Frost leaned in, his eyes widening as he absorbed the information on the screen. The Tholian command ship wasn't just coordinating the invasion of Earth. It was the linchpin of a much larger operation, poised to strike at human colonies across the galaxy. If we take this ship out of commission, Wong explained, his voice tight with excitement, we could cripple their entire invasion force. Frost nodded, his mind already formulating a new plan. Morris, Elva, he commanded, make your way to the hangar bay. Secure us a shuttle for extraction. He turned to Wong. You and I are going to pay a visit to the bridge. As Morris and Elva disappeared down the corridor, Frost and Wong pressed on. The young hacker's sabotage had thrown the ship into chaos. Life support failed in some sections, while artificial gravity fluctuated wildly in others. Frost used this confusion to their advantage, employing tactics that left the Tholian defenders reeling. They were nearing the bridge when Admiral Chen's voice crackled over their comms, her tone urgent. General, we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the Tholian ship. We think they're initiating some kind of self-destruct sequence. If that ship goes up, it could devastate a significant portion of Earth's surface. Frost exchanged a grim look with Wong. Understood, Admiral. We're on it. With renewed urgency, they made their final push towards the bridge. The doors loomed before them, a last barrier between humanity and salvation. Wong's hacking skills made short work of the security protocols, and the doors slid open to reveal the nerve center of the Tholian invasion. Crystalline forms turned to face the intruders, their alien features unreadable. At the center stood a massive Tholian, its exoskeleton adorned with intricate patterns that marked it as the Supreme Commander. Time seemed to slow as Frost assessed the situation. Wong, stop that self-destruct sequence. I'll handle the welcoming committee. As Wong dashed towards a control terminal, Frost charged the Tholian commander. The alien met his attack with surprising speed, its crystalline limbs a blur of motion. The fate of Earth, of all humanity, would be decided here, on the bridge of an alien warship high above the planet's surface. Scarred surface. As energy weapons blazed across the bridge, Frost charged towards the towering Tholian commander, centuries of combat experience guiding his every move. The alien leader's crystalline form glinted in the harsh light as it met Frost's attack with surprising agility. Limbs of living crystal clashed against Frost's armor, each impact sending shockwaves through his body. Yet Frost's augmented physiology and wealth of experience allowed him to hold his ground, matching the alien blow for blow. Wong! The self-destruct! Frost shouted, ducking under a sweeping crystalline appendage. Wong's fingers flew across the alien console, his eyes darting between holographic displays. "Working on it, sir. Their language is like nothing I've ever seen." As Frost grappled with the Tholian commander, he caught glimpses of Wong's desperate race against time. The young hacker's face was a mask of concentration, sweat beading on his brow as he deciphered the complex Tholian programming language. The bridge was chaos. Energy beams crisscrossed the air as the remaining Tholian crew attempted to repel the human intruders. Frost's centuries-old military training kicked into overdrive, his body moving with practiced precision as he sought an advantage against his otherworldly opponent. In a pivotal moment, Frost identified a weak point in the Tholian commander's exoskeleton. With a lightning-fast series of strikes, he focused his attacks on a single crystalline joint. The alien's shriek of pain reverberated through the bridge as one of its appendages shattered, sending crystalline shards scattering across the deck. The high-pitched cry seemed to disorient the other Tholians, their movements becoming erratic. Seizing the opportunity, Frost snatched up a fallen Tholian energy weapon. With practiced ease, he turned the alien technology against its former owners, incapacitating the remaining crew with precise shots. "Got it!" Wong's triumphant shout cut through the din of battle. "Self-destruct sequence aborted, but sir, we've got another problem." As if on cue, the ship shuddered violently. Warning klaxons blared, their alien tones grating on human ears. "The main power core is overloading," Wong explained, his fingers still dancing across the console. "The only way to stop a catastrophic explosion is to jettison it, but that'll leave us dead in the water." Frost's mind raced, weighing the options in a fraction of a second. "Do it," he ordered. "Crippling this ship could turn the tide of the entire invasion." Wong nodded, executing the command. The deck lurched beneath their feet as the massive power core was ejected into space. Instantly, the ship's systems began to fail. Emergency lighting cast an eerie glow across the bridge as the once mighty vessel became little more than a drifting hulk. In the sudden quiet, Frost moved swiftly to the central command console. "Cover me," he instructed Wong, who took up a defensive position with a Tholian weapon. Frost's fingers flew across the alien interface, downloading crucial intelligence about the Tholian invasion plans and fleet movements. Every scrap of data could be the key to humanity's survival. "Download complete," Frost announced. "Let's move. Morris and Elva should have our exit strategy ready." They fought their way through the dimly lit corridors, encountering pockets of disorganized Tholian resistance. The ship's crew, cut off from Central Command and reeling from the loss of their leader, put up only token opposition. Frost and Wong burst into the hangar bay, where Morris and Elva waited in a commandeered Tholian shuttle. "About time you joined the party," Morris quipped, nursing a burn on his arm. As they boarded the shuttle, Frost cast a final glance at the once mighty Tholian command ship. Its sleek form now listed awkwardly in orbit, a visible symbol of humanity's first real victory against the invaders. Elva's mandibles clicked as she interfaced with the shuttle's controls. "I've established a secure communication channel with Earth's resistance," she announced. Admiral Chen's face appeared on a holographic display, her expression a mix of relief and urgency. "General Frost, your team's actions have turned the tide. Tholian forces across the globe are in disarray. We're launching coordinated strikes to reclaim key territories." Frost nodded, allowing himself a moment of satisfaction. But the intelligence he'd gathered took a toll on his mind. "Admiral, we've won a battle, but the war is not nearly finished. The data I've recovered shows a second wave of the Tholian invasion fleet en route to Earth. They'll be here in less than 48 hours. The Admiral's face hardened. "Understood, General. Get your team to our forward command post in D.C. We need to plan our next move." As Elva piloted the shuttle towards Earth, Frost watched the blue-green orb of his homeworld grow larger. The planet bore the scars of invasion, but it remained unbroken. Now, with the intelligence they'd gathered and the momentum of their victory, they had a fighting chance. Frost turned to his team, each member representing a different facet of humanity's strength and resilience. "We've struck a blow against the Tholians," he said, his voice firm. "But our greatest challenge still lies ahead." Ahead. As the shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, Frost's mind raced with the implications of the intelligence they'd gathered. the planet's surface came into sharp focus, revealing the devastation wrought by the Tholian invasion. "General," Wong called out, his eyes fixed on a display, "I've been analyzing the data we retrieved. The second wave of the Tholian invasion fleet, it's massive, far larger than what we've faced so far." Frost's fist tight. "How long do we have?" "Based on their current trajectory and speed, less than 48 hours before they reach Earth." The shuttle touched down at the forward command post in Washington, D.C., or what remained of it. The once proud capital was now a maze of hastily constructed fortifications and makeshift military installations. Admiral Chen greeted them as they disembarked, her face etched with worry and fatigue. "General Frost, we need to move quickly. Our long-range sensors have already detected the incoming fleet." Frost nodded, leading his team into the command center. The air was thick with tension as military personnel and civilian scientists worked feverishly to prepare Earth's defenses. "We need a plan," Frost stated, his voice cutting through the noise. "And we need one fast." As if on cue, a familiar face approached their group. Dr. Evelyn Marcus, her lab coat stained and her hair disheveled, carried a stack of data pads. "General Frost," she said, her eyes bright with excitement despite her obvious exhaustion, "I've made significant progress in understanding Tholian physiology. With the data you've brought back, I believe we have a chance." Frost raised an eyebrow. "What kind of chance, Doctor?" Dr. Marcus spread out her findings on a nearby table. "The Tholians aren't just invaders, they're terraformers. They're attempting to alter our planet's environment to suit their needs. But this process, it's not instantaneous. It requires a massive amount of energy and specialized equipment." Wong leaned in, his quick mind already connecting the dots. "The command ship we infiltrated, it wasn't just coordinating the attack, it was the linchpin of their entire operation." "Exactly," Dr. Marcus confirmed. "If we can neutralize their new command ship, we might be able to halt their terraforming efforts and throw their entire invasion into chaos." Frost's mind raced with possibilities. "We need a way to get close enough to strike at their heart. But how? They'll be expecting another frontal assault." Elva stepped forward, her mandibles clicking thoughtfully. "The shuttle we captured. With modifications, we could use it to infiltrate their fleet." The room fell silent as the implication sank in. It was a desperate plan, but it might be their only chance. "All right," Frost said, his voice filled with grit. "We have less than 2 days to prepare. Let's get to work." The next hours were a blur of activity. Frost assembled his infiltration team, Wong for his hacking skills, Morris for combat expertise, Elva for her knowledge of Tholian technology, and Dr. Marcus for her scientific insight. To Frost's surprise, Captain Jack Harper, now recovered from his injuries, insisted on joining the mission. "You'll need every skilled hand you can get, General," Harper said, his eyes burning with the desire for payback. As Earth's remaining forces fortified key locations and calibrated the orbital defense network, Frost's team underwent intensive training. They familiarized themselves with Tholian technology, practiced infiltration scenarios, and refined their combat tactics. Dr. Marcus worked tirelessly, developing a prototype bioweapon that could potentially incapacitate the crystalline aliens without harming humans. "It's not perfect," she admitted, "but it's the best chance we have." The captured Tholian shuttle became the centerpiece of their plan. Earth's best engineers worked around the clock to modify its systems, integrating human-compatible controls and advanced stealth technology. As the deadline approached, long-range sensors detected the arrival of the second Tholian fleet at the edge of the solar system. The invasion force was massive, dwarfing the previous attack wave. At its center loomed an enormous command ship, filled with advanced weaponry and surrounded by a protective screen of smaller vessels. Frost gathered his team for a final briefing. The weight of humanity's future rested heavily on their shoulders. "This is it," he said, looking each member in the eye. "We may not get another chance. Our mission is clear. Infiltrate the Tholian command ship, sabotage their terraforming equipment, and escape with any intelligence we can gather." He paused, allowing the gravity of the situation to sink in. "I won't lie to you. The odds are against us, but each of you represents the best of humanity. Together, we have a fighting chance." As they made their final preparations, Frost felt a familiar calm settle over him. He'd faced impossible odds before, over centuries of combat. This was just another battle, albeit one with the highest stakes imaginable. The team boarded the modified Tholian shuttle, each member focused on their role in the mission ahead. As the hangar doors opened, revealing the star-filled sky beyond, Frost gave the order to launch. The shuttle rose silently into the night, its stealth systems masking their departure from Earth's defensive perimeter. As they accelerated towards the incoming Tholian armada, Frost allowed himself a grim smile. Whatever the outcome, they would show these alien invaders the true mettle of humanity. The vastness of space stretched before them, the distant pinpricks of light marking the approaching Tholian fleet, growing larger with each passing moment. The fate of Earth, of all humanity, now rested in their hands as they raced towards their rendezvous with destiny. Destiny as they sped towards the imposing Tholian armada. The modified shuttle cut through the void of space, its stealth systems straining to mask their approach. Inside, the team sat in tense silence, each member acutely aware of the enormity of their task. "Multiple contacts ahead," Wong announced, his fingers dancing across the alien controls. "Tholian interceptors on an intercept course." Frost leaned forward, his eyes narrowing as he assessed the situation. "Evasive maneuvers, Wong. Use the asteroid field to our advantage." The shuttle lurched as Wong expertly guided it through a dense cluster of space debris. Tholian energy beams lanced past them, missing by mere meters. The team was thrown about as Wong executed a series of tight turns and sudden drops, using every trick in his arsenal to shake their pursuers. "We're not going to make it to the command ship at this rate," Harper growled, his hands tightening on his weapon. Frost's mind raced, considering their options. "Wong, can you get us behind that large asteroid?" "Affirmative, sir," Wong replied, already adjusting their course. The shuttle slipped behind the massive chunk of rock, momentarily obscured from the Tholian sensors. Frost turned to Elva, his eyes intense. "Can you use your knowledge of Tholian systems to send out a false signal? Make them think we've gone in a different direction?" Elva's mandibles clicked rapidly as she interfaced with the shuttle's communications array. "Attempting now, General." For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then the scanners showed the Tholian interceptors veering off, chasing the phantom signal. "It worked," Morris breathed, a hint of relief in his voice. Their respite was short-lived. A stray Tholian energy beam grazed the shuttle's hull, sending sparks flying from a nearby console. "Propulsion system damaged," Wong reported, his voice tight with concentration as he fought to keep the shuttle stable. "We're losing speed." Frost's expression resolute as he watched the massive Tholian command ship grow larger in the view screen. They were so close, but their momentum was fading. The persistent Tholian interceptor closed in, preparing for another attack run. "Everyone, brace for impact!" Frost shouted as the enemy ship opened fire. The shuttle shuddered violently as another blast struck home. Warning alarms blared as systems failed across the board. Wong's hands flew across the controls, coaxing every last bit of power from the failing engines. "Earth's defensive perimeter ahead," Dr. Marcus called out, her eyes fixed on the long-range scanners. "They've detected us." As if in answer to her words, a squadron of Earth fighters burst into view, their weapons blazing. The human pilots engaged the Tholian interceptor with a ferocity that took the alien ship by surprise. "This is Blue Leader to unidentified shuttle," a voice crackled over the comm system. "We've got you covered. Make for the atmosphere, now!" Wong needed no further encouragement. He pushed the damaged shuttle to its limits, aiming for the thin blue line of Earth's atmosphere. Behind them, the Earth fighters expertly maneuvered around the Tholian ship, their coordinated attacks keeping the alien vessel off balance. The shuttle bucked and shuddered as it hit the outer layers of the atmosphere. Frost gripped his seat, watching as the exterior of the craft began to glow red-hot from the friction of re-entry. "Structural integrity at 60% and falling," Wong reported, his voice strained. "We're coming in too hot." "Reroute all available power to the heat shields," Frost ordered. "We've gotten this far. We're not failing now." The next few minutes were a blur of heat, noise, and stomach-churning turbulence. Just when it seemed the shuttle would break apart, they burst through the cloud layer, the golden fields of the Swiss countryside spread out beneath them. There! Dr. Marcus pointed to a clearing where several vehicles were gathered. Our extraction team. Wong guided the battered shuttle down, the landing struts groaning in protest as they touched the ground. The team stumbled out, greeted by a contingent of grim-faced soldiers, who quickly ushered them into waiting transports. As they sped towards the hidden entrance of the underground facility, Frost caught a glimpse of the sky. The faint flashes of distant explosions were visible even in the daylight, a stark reminder of the battle raging in orbit. The transports descended into a vast underground cavern, coming to a stop in front of a heavily guarded entrance. Admiral Chen was waiting for them, her face a mixture of relief and urgency. "General Frost," she greeted him as the team disembarked. "We need to move quickly. Our long-range sensors have detected the main Tholian fleet beginning its advance." Frost nodded, his mind already shifting to the next phase of their desperate plan. "How long do we have?" "Less than 72 hours before they're in strike range," Chen replied, leading them through a series of security checkpoints. They entered a bustling command center, where military personnel and civilians worked side by side, preparing for the coming storm. Dr. Marcus immediately headed for a makeshift lab where the captured Tholian specimen waited, while Wong and Morris were directed to a group of engineers poring over the stolen Tholian technology. Frost turned to address the assembled leaders, his voice carrying across the room. "We've struck a significant blow against the Tholians, but the real fight is just beginning. We have less than 3 days to prepare our defenses and find a way to stop their invasion force." As he began to outline what they'd learned from their mission, Frost couldn't help but feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The coming hours would determine the fate of not just Earth, but all of humanity. He pushed the thought aside, focusing on the task at hand. There would be time for reflection later, if they survived. Survived. With relentless drive, Frost turned his attention to the massive view screen dominating the far wall of the command center. "Show me our current defensive positions," he ordered. A holographic display flickered to life, revealing Earth's orbital defenses in the approaching Tholian armada. The sheer scale of the alien force was staggering, dwarfing humanity's remaining fleet. Admiral Chen stepped forward, her face etched with concern. "General, our long-range scans have detected a vulnerability in the Tholian command ship. It appears to be channeling massive amounts of energy, likely for their terraforming technology." Frost's eyes narrowed as he studied the display. "That's our target. If we can take out their command ship, we might just have a chance." He turned to address his team, each member standing at attention despite their recent ordeal. "We have less than 72 hours to prepare. I need each of you at your best." As the hours ticked by, the underground facility became a hive of activity. Dr. Marcus worked tirelessly in her makeshift lab, her breakthrough with the Tholian specimen providing crucial insights into their biology. "General Frost," she called out, her eyes alight with excitement. "I've discovered something extraordinary. The Tholian leader's crystalline structure is uniquely vulnerable to a specific combination of sonic frequencies and electromagnetic pulses." Frost leaned in, his mind already formulating a plan. "Can we weaponize this?" Dr. Marcus nodded, her fingers flying over a nearby console. "I'm transmitting the specifications now. With some modifications, we can create sonic disruptors capable of shattering their crystalline forms." As engineering teams rushed to implement Dr. Marcus's findings, Frost gathered his core team for a final briefing. Wong, Morris, and Elva stood before him, their faces a mixture of exhaustion and tenacity. "We're going back in," Frost announced, his voice steady. "Our mission is to infiltrate the Tholian command ship and take out their leader. It's a long shot, but it's our best chance of ending this war." Wong's fingers danced over a holographic display, bringing up schematics of their modified Tholian shuttle. "I've enhanced our stealth capabilities based on what we learned from our last mission. We should be able to slip past their defenses undetected." Morris hefted one of the newly created sonic disruptors, testing its weight. "These babies pack a punch. We'll need to plant them strategically throughout the ship for maximum effect." Elva stepped forward, her alien features set in a determined expression. "I can guide us through the ship's layout. My knowledge of Tholian architecture will be crucial once we're inside." As the team made their final preparations, Captain Jack Harper approached Frost. "General, I want to lead a diversionary attack. Draw their attention away from your approach." Frost clasped Harper's shoulder, nodding his approval. "Make it count, Captain. We'll need every advantage we can get." With mere hours left before the Tholian fleet entered firing range, Frost's team boarded their modified shuttle. The hangar doors slid open, revealing the star-filled sky above. In the distance, the faint flashes of the approaching Tholian armada were visible. "This is it," Frost said, strapping himself into the pilot's seat. "Earth's fate rests in our hands. Let's show these aliens what humanity is truly capable of." The shuttle rose silently into the night, its enhanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to both human and Tholian sensors. As they accelerated towards the massive alien fleet, Frost allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection. Centuries of combat experience had led him to this moment, a final, bold strategy to save the world he had sworn to protect. Behind them, Earth's remaining defenses prepared for their last stand. Admiral Chen coordinated the planetary defense grid, her face grim as she watched the approaching Tholian fleet on her tactical displays. As Frost's shuttle neared the outer edges of the Tholian armada, Captain Harper's voice crackled over the comms. "This is Raptor Lead. Commencing diversionary attack now. Good luck, General." A brilliant flash of light erupted on the shuttle's rear sensors as Harper's squadron engaged the Tholian support ships. The space around them erupted into chaos as energy beams and missiles crisscrossed the void. "Now's our chance," Frost said, his hands steady on the controls. "Full power to engines. Let's thread the needle." The shuttle accelerated, weaving through the debris of destroyed ships and the crossfire of the raging battle. Wong's enhanced stealth systems held, keeping them hidden from the Tholian sensors. As they approached the massive Tholian command ship, Frost felt a familiar surge of adrenaline. The true test was about to begin. "Prepare for docking," he announced, guiding the shuttle towards a vulnerable point in the alien vessel's hull. "Remember your training. We have one shot at this. Let's make it count." With a muffled thud, the shuttle latched onto the Tholian command ship. Frost unstrapped himself from the pilot's seat, grabbing his weapon and nodding to his team. "Breach in 3, 2, 1. The shuttle's airlock hissed open, and Frost's team surged into the alien vessel, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their mission to save Earth.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.